Hey YouTube, Sunday morning. Haven't done a video for a couple days. I think I'm going to try to show the rest of my cassettes. I got a pretty good stack, but I'm going to try to whip through them and not make the video too long. Also, if anyone could answer kind of a technical question for me, I'm using my iPad mini to record these videos now because it's going to be way better quality. You'll notice I'm kind of a Luddite when it comes to a lot of technology. You'll notice I'm looking away. Look at that shit. I can't fucking figure out how to make it to where I'm looking straight at the screen. I feel like it's weird. If I flip the iPad up vertically, it doesn't do that, but when I put it horizontally, and I can't figure out how to change it. So if somebody can answer that for me, I feel really fucking awkward looking at my iPad, yet it looks like I'm looking at something else in the background. Sorry, I'm retarded. Anyway, I'll get on with the video. I have these somewhat sorted out, which might come as a surprise to you because everything I've shown so far has just been a fucking pile of a mess. So here we go. We're gonna start with some kind of traditional metal 80s stuff. Yeah, here we go. Halloween. Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2. Sorry about my fucking clumsiness. Classic album, not as good as the... oh, shit. This is Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1. I'm sorry, I have 2 on CD. This is one of their most classic albums. I fucking love it. One of the pioneers of European power metal. We all know this. I don't even need to go into it. Next up, we have Riot. Restless Breed, one of their earlier albums. I do like a lot of Riot. I don't like it all. What was that one album that I like? Thunderstrike, or you fucking know what I'm talking about. Thundersteel? Yeah, it's a great album. Moving on, another, this is not one of my favorite albums from this band, but it is a band I very much like. Sabotage, Power of the Night. It's more of a rocky, Sabotage. I much prefer like Call of the Mountain King and Sirens, their earlier stuff, and even some of their later stuff to an extent. All right, this is a cool one. Saxon, Power and the Glory. More classic New World of British heavy metal. Here's one of my all-time favorite albums right here. Just ever. This is, and one of my favorite bands, of course. Queensryche, The Warning. I could go on for days about how much I love Queensryche, and especially that album. I'll take some coffee here. Yeah, that's in my top 10 and will never change. Here's an album I don't think most of you will probably like, but I'm not even sure how much I like it. Anyway, yeah. Nitro Ofr. It's their first album out of what? I think they have 2 albums. If you're not familiar with Nitro, it's a weird band. It's kind of like a glam, like a technical glam. It's got like Michelangelo Bascio just doing this weird shredding over like fucking almost like 80s Motley Crue type lyrics. It's a tough pill to swallow, really, but I do like it, kind of. I listen to it occasionally. There's more to say about Nitro. Alright, moving on, we have a couple more things. I'm going to split this up. Alright. Napalm Death. Death by Manipulation. Pretty cool compilation. It's got some of their EPs, and it's got some live tracks. Stuff like that. Yeah. Love Napalm Death. Napalm Death. I can't fucking talk. I should probably say that I just woke up, and I'm still midway through my coffee, so yeah. Eli in the morning without coffee is horrible. I can't speak straight. I can't walk straight. Anyway, I chose to do a video for some reason at my worst, so yeah. Sounds like something I'd do. Next up, here's a weird one that probably most of you aren't going to be familiar with, regardless of where you live. I'll talk about it for a minute. Zebulon Costed. This is a project out of Missoula, Montana. I saw them live. I think it's like a 3-piece, kind of a noise, ambient, black metal type thing that they do. I saw them live in Missoula when I went to see Apsu play. And yeah, it was just weird. They did kind of a noise set. It was kind of cool. Some of it I didn't too much care for, but the whole concept was cool. It was not something I was familiar with at all. It was kind of like they were like it had a bunch of metal parts. They were like banging chains off the ground, taking rakes across pieces of metal, and not just randomly, but in sync to make this certain like industrial sound, taking hammers and smashing pieces of metal. That was kind of cool. And from what I understand, they do some straight up black metal too. They have a bunch of releases. This is pretty cool on the inside. It's a dubbed cassette that they just scratched the hell out of, which I thought was kind of cool. I think other people have done that too, but the only one I've ever owned that's like that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, look into Zebulon Costed if you want some weird stuff. Next up, what are we doing here? Tangerine Dream, Tiger. Not my favorite Tangerine Dream release. Not my least favorite either. This one is a little bit more poppy. What year did it come out? 92, I think. This is a 90s album. Yeah, it's got vocals. It's a little more poppy, than a lot of their stuff. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I do like this album, though. I listen to it from time to time. Next up, George Carlin, Indecent Exposure. It's just kind of a George Carlin compilation. I'm a massive stand-up comedy fan, and I fucking love George Carlin. If anyone wants to know my stance on politics and religion, I'll just refer you to George. He taught me all I needed to know about those subjects. Whether you agree or disagree with that, I don't give a fuck. All right. Here's one that you'll probably say, you'll probably slam on me for being a metalhead. There are guidelines for shit that metalheads can like and what they can't. And I mean, I've had friends make fun of me for liking, these types of bands, but I grew up in the 90s and I do like some of them. Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger. I grew up with this album. To me, it's a classic. Don't give a fuck if you agree or not. I like Alice in Chains too. I've had some friends give me some serious shit for that, and I don't get that. I think that's, first of all, extremely uncalled for, and the second of all, yeah, these rules in metal, I mean, that people just kind of invent. It's bullshit. I think some of you will agree with that. If you don't, then you're part of the problem. Next up, we got some rock type stuff. I've stated before in one of my other videos that this is my favorite band of all time, and that will never change. Rush, Caress of Steel. Not my favorite Rush album. I love it, but it's not my favorite. It's not even in my top 3. This album, it's a weird one, man. They followed Hemispheres with this, which was a very, very extremely progressive release. This album, to me, it's so uneven. It's got like the first half are fairly simple and even poppy songs, like Lakeside Park and Bastille Day and weird stuff like that. But then it gets into this extremely progressive, like the Necromancer, and yeah, it's really weird. What was the other one? There's the Necromancer, and I can't remember. Maybe it was just the Necromancer. I think that's in 2 parts. But anyway, yeah, it's just a very uneven album. I think they should have, I don't know, done something different. But the progressive aspects of this album are fucking amazing. I actually wish they'd done more in that vein, but they kind of never did after this. If there are any Rush fans, comment. I'd love to talk about Rush in general. I don't get to do that very often. Most of my friends don't like Rush. So next up, I was kind of call them a progressive band, but that's not even really the correct term. I guess they're more of a space rock. Hawkwind. This album is really cool. I like it a lot. Oh, this is not the album I thought it was. No glasses. This is Palace Springs. I think this is a live album. This came out on Road Racer. Remember Road Racer, before they were Roadrunner? I'm sorry. I'll stop talking about it, but I'm pretty sure this is a live album. And that's all I'm going to say. Hawkwind are cool. They're definitely a cult band. I'm not the biggest Hawkwind fan. Some of their stuff is a little hard for me to get into. I do like some of it, though. Some of it is just, it's, and I hate to admit this, but some of it just, I need a little structure in my music, even when it comes to prog and stuff. And some of that Hawkwind stuff, some of the early stuff especially, is just too free flowing. I'm sure if you were on LSD or acid or something, it'd be great, but I can't get into a lot of it. Sorry. I think they're cool, but next up, here's an album that I do not listen to anymore, and I probably won't ever, but it was a big part of my childhood. My dad had it. I think this cassette is, I think I stole this from my dad, actually. It's Journey, Escape. That's all I'm going to say. It's a good album for what it is, I guess. Here's another tape that I'm pretty sure I stole from my dad. Another band that I really don't care that much for, but they're a classic in their own right. ZZ Top, Eliminator. Got another couple small stacks here. We have some thrash stuff. We have Overkill, Wrecking Your Neck Live. It's a double tape. What can I say? Classic Overkill. They're a great live band. If you ever go see Overkill, if you ever get the chance. Creator, Coma of Souls. This is probably the last Creator album I will ever like, and it's, of the albums that they did that I like, this is my least favorite. But it's, for what Coma of Souls is, it's good. But I much prefer those first 3 or 4 albums. This one I haven't even opened yet, ever. Centrex, Dilute to Taste. British thrash. Pretty good for what it is. Centrex, I like them. They're not one of my favorite thrash bands, but pretty fun, good. Talking Heads, True Stories. Love Talking Heads, one of my favorite bands of all time. This is not one of their better albums, but I'll play it from time to time. I have 2 copies of this one. Genesis, self-titled. I've talked about it on vinyl before. I don't need to go into it. We have Phil Collins, Face Value. All-time classic. This is his best album. It's first and best. I love this album. This is one of my favorite albums, just in general. Love it. And we have Phil Collins' third album, No Jacket Required. Also a good album. This is kind of the last thing I liked that he did, but it's great in its own right, too. Anyway, that is it for my cassettes. I don't have any more. I'm going to move on to my CDs now. Like I said in my first several videos, I have well over 1,000 CDs, maybe even several thousand. I've never counted them. And like I said also, I moved recently. I'm still unpacking, as you can see, fucking boxes in the back. Yeah, I guess my background will look a little cooler when I'm done. I'll have posters and shelves like everyone else. Yeah, maybe I'll get to that next week. I've been extremely busy. But yeah, I'm done with this video. You guys have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you later.